So over here you have multiple frequencies made by an aluminum plate with salt on it. The higher the frequency, the more complex the pattern. These are the patterns that they make with the salt on the plate. The patterns also are made in the atom, where you have a line across and you have like a U upside down and a U downside up. This connects to the frequencies of the gravity to the ground, the sunlight, and the pressure of the air. This pattern is in X right here that connects to atoms with gas, rocks, and metals. This highly compressed element table frequencies create all the proteins and connects to a number with multiple universes with the evolution of space. The proteins have personality and walk on bridges. Their frequencies allows them to walk on bridges to that bridge frequency. You got proteins in between the walls of the cells that only could exist in those walls. Other proteins cannot because they have the right frequencies. You have proteins that wobble and carry proteins to the center of the cell. You have other proteins that create DNA in a chain and govern in this frequency protein. You have other creatures that crawl or inch across, like the other creatures that wobble with the proteins, and they all connected to a certain frequency and pitch to the bridge and the organization of the cells in the body. The frequencies are connected to the left side and the right side of the brain and connects to gaps of personalities that repeat, develop, has variation, but we have to be honest and true and respect our pressures, our feelings, and come correct and swallow our pride, bite our tongue, and let go. And in those levels of pressure, we connect multiple spaces. So you have that, and you have over here, this is the center which we're connected to. We're connected to the center of gravity, the center of the sun. The bacteria's master the sunlight, the genes master the sunlight, the seasons, the turning of the earth in the right direction, and in the moon, the monthly moon patterns. So different creatures with prey and predators and personalities or gaps are connected to the frequencies of the tension of the water, the heat and the cold in the water that creates the bacteria, and the fish that creates the predators and the prey to become more robust and more agile. The fish to be opposite to the reefs and the center of gravity. We create multiple centers, and the centers collide as we go through the day and are opposite to each other. They're opposite in the 77 and 23%. Our hands are two-dimensional, either two-dimensional. Our hearing is two-dimensional. Our biceps, forearms, and shoulders are three-dimensional. The leg, calves, and thighs are three-dimensional. But the leg by itself is one-dimensional. The body is one-dimensional. The two eyes, the two hands are two-dimensional. So this creates the center pattern of all things. The tools, connects to the animals, the farm animals. It connects to the city. So back the genes mastered the pressure. Over here you got a cannon shooting, and when the cannon falls, the gravity gets stronger and the cannon gets weaker, the cannonball gets weaker. So the frequency from the top to the bottom and across, in between those frequencies, is where our personality lives, where the center of gravity. So you could create a gravity, a center of gravity away from the center, our personality, but they connect left to right in multiple spaces and then collide back to the center in different amount of frequency and pitch and gaps with different sizes of repeat, variation, develop, progressive, memory, and recognize. So the tension weakens, the pressure, the heat and tension weakens in our eyes, in our heart, and our determination. The body gets tight and loose, and we lose focus. We're more in the mood for one thing over another, and one thing or another, and so we're opposite to our spaces. The brain is connecting the gaps in our brain to build up the tolerance. In changing times, things change, and so this is the way our brain adapts. It does it too with a basketball game. We connect to the lines, the 3-pointer, the 2-pointer, the free throws, the layups, the leaders, the clock, the quarter, and the body creates the next possible move in our training to feel good in our pattern, to overcome the other person's defense with your offense, or your defense with their offense. Over here, we're all connected to these frequencies. The frequencies are governed by simple ways. Speed confronts gravity in the right distance. The direction of object overcomes pressure or of others. The direction of objects, we can all walk towards the train in the same direction, and it feels less pressure. A person walking towards us feels more pressure. Heat and compressed levels accelerate personality, creativity, places. The structure tension of gravity rejects objects in their space. So class and style could reject and create tension. The gravity shades space in a certain size. Friends, place, creativity. Structure size determine gravity's level. So the size, the intensity, the beauty of somebody creates the gravity, the mesmerize. The space is pressurized to distant levels. So the walls in a hallway closer, or open block or open parking lot creates less pressure. We are automatic from where we start from. So where we start from, our personality, compassion, independence comes out from where we start from in different environments. We got to withstand to have control. Mastering time determines levels, distance, how far you will go. So the skills that you master determines your distance. So over here, you have the number of beauty in a triangle somewhat shape. You put it in a circle, you get the number of beauty. It connects to the muscles. The muscle gets tight and loose to have grip, grab, carry, to walk and balance on a bike, balance on a skateboard in an uneven muscle, legs, feet, hands, back, chest, unevenly gets tight and loose with a comfort, with your cartilage, with your tendon, with your muscle, completely unevenly, extremely, so as to feel comfortable with a certain stuff and a stiffness that we feel satisfied. So the 70 degrees is connected to an uneven 77 and 23 degrees that becomes more and more balanced with evolution, or with technology, with power, respect, know-how, and technology. So the 70 degrees is connected to the hands, the eyes, and the feet. The body gets tight and loose in the 70 degrees, and is opposite to the flowers and the trees and the structures, the mountain that's connected to the number of beauty. So over here you have 3 leaves over each other, and you have 5 on the other side is connected to the 3 and 5, the number of beauty. The pedestals is connected uneven, negative and positive, to the 3 and the 5, or 3 and the 8, in different amounts. All flowers have the number of beauty. We're connected to the number of beauty with the bones in our hands in that number. The 70 degrees, 23, 70 degrees creates with the formation of the solar system that creates dust, pebbles, protoplanets, asteroids into planets in the right pull and push to the right amount, and exited all the other remaining planets or remaining asteroids around our solar system to create the leftover us. So we live in between the frequencies, the sound, the direction, the distance, the motion, the food, the clothes. We live in between the voice, the beauty. We live in between that frequency, and so it's in broken pieces. So we only see the right amount of frequencies in its sizes. So the smallest dust to the biggest, the houses, the neighborhoods, people. We have a certain comfort, disconnect, loosen, block, stiff stuff, confidence, mood to everything. And when we swallow our pride, we bite our tongue and we let go, we move to a different focus. And so the tension in our eyes, in the pressure, the tension, the heat in our eyes, in our tongue, in our lips, in our ears, all lower to an uneven balance for us to accept change or accept oppression. So we build up pressure in our blood vessels, and when we move our arms, it releases the pressure. So for us to get into the mood to talk and stretch our words, and then it builds up the tolerance. The brain knows the level. So everything is 7 degrees. 7 degrees is 70% hydrogen in the sun, 70% hydrogen in the universe, 70% water in the body, 70% nitrogen in the air, with 23% oxygen in the air, 23% helium in the universe and in the sun. So this is connected to a number. The number is connected to the sunlight. The candlelight creates an uneven 70, 23, 70, 7% light, and we're connected to that balance. Over here is the granite that creates electrons to form in the granite. The formation of the war of the electrons is created by the granite, and that formation is connected to a U upside down, a left and a right, and a U downside up. Is connected to the brain that is up and front, left and right, back and down, that connects to the animals, the monkey, and the caveman. And so it's connected to the brain, and it's connected to the atoms. And the 70 degrees percentage is connected to the formation of the moon and the sun and the earth, with the moon closer to the center to create the right full moon. This uneven balance also creates bones to turn into sandstone in the oceans, to between two lands, and turn into sandstone, turn into oil, or turn into gas. If you move the sandstone underneath the mountain, it would turn into marble and granite. So the center of gravity is connected to the hands and the feet, and the tension of the floor to a certain timing, the body and the wall to a certain timing, and the vision to a certain timing of objects and people. That's connected to a center of balance that creates all technology, creates the whole city, and allows us to move in 3 dimensions. And the cloud is created in the center of gravity. The charcoal is created that falls into the shallow lake, the shallow water, and with sand compresses into charcoal. The volcanoes, with water exploding the volcanoes, with gold and silver rising up and diamonds rising up from the bottom of the lava into the rivers. This center of gravity connects a tight and looseness that creates uneven expressions in our face, with the jaw and the tongue and the lips and the face muscle and slight grittiness uneven to each other. It creates a comfort in the eyes, in the ears, in the taste, in the stomach, when it registers in the brain what you're eating and what you're in the mood for, and it makes us feel like the environment is real. It has to register in our brain for our eyes to like it, for our mouth to taste it, for our stomach to feel comfortable, our ears to feel comfortable and love it. And it stiffens, it blocks, it disconnects our view in 70 degrees to an uneven percentage. Over here you got the cartilage wrapped around in other cartilage, other tendon cartilage, to move left and right, back and forth, or front, or jump up, or squat. Over here you have this uneven cartilage, and it creates a 3-dimensional. We're 2-dimensional. Our cartilage and our muscle layers are wrapped around our bones to create a grip, a grab, and a hold in the slightest stiff grittiness in the edges of the muscle for us to grab it so gently. Over here we got cartilage in our knees that's left, right, in the middle, and underneath that allows all levels of movement. Over here you have muscles with lines in the center that could move any part of that muscle to grab the smallest or the biggest objects with the littlest ease. So over here you have chemicals that are in different colors. 2 chemicals in the same jar. When you spin it, cloud spreads apart. When you spin it back, collects in the frequencies with those special chemicals, allows it to connect in the right frequencies and look brand new. So the brain measures the environment with our nose, our eyes, our tongue, our knees, our hips, our shoulders, and with our smirk and tilt and moan and rub, caress, breathe, we connect to multiple spaces, to lower spaces in that room. We confront, withstand, and overcome. We reject with the smirk and the tilt. And the eyes, with our head up, sitting down, the brain knows what you're doing and what space to connect to. So over here you have big suns to small suns to really small suns that explode in the galaxies unevenly. It does the same with the brain, the left side of the brain, the right side of the brain to the room with territorial, dream, positive, negative, conscious, subconscious, logic, philosophy, submissive, and dominant. Over here, you have the unevenness with democracy, 70%, religion, 7%, civil rights, 23%, that grows in opposite degrees in amount to become more and more balanced in the modern world. It's over here you have the separating of lands that collide with volcanoes and shape those lands in hot and cold levels, areas, and move and change the plants and the foods and the animals to adapt to those environments in the 77 and 23 degrees level. We live in between the frequencies in high, in the height, in the length, and in the width in between the frequencies of sound, direction, motion, size, timing. The brain creates the grittiness in the pupil or in the center of the pupil on the sides of the eyes for us to focus and move our eyes left and right easily. Well, I guess that's everything. The body, well, I guess that's everything. The body creates pressure in the blood vessels when we move our hands. This allows us to feel comfortable and stretch our words. I think I said that. So the white skin pushes out just like rock pushes out heat. The black skin absorbs, and this is connected to the right of the black people pulls in. The discipline of the white people pushes out, and the choice of the scientists or the red people that tugs. And they're connected to the jungle, the desert, and the snow that connects the patterns, the rhythm, and the coordination that we connect in a 73 and 23 and a 7% in the modern, faster society, faster city, modern age. And we absorb and create creativity and smaller size and deeper understanding. So the space of top, front, left, right, back, down is in one timing. The space of upside down, downside up is another timing. The size, small size, big size, race, small size, style, and personality, and the small size are opposite in timing. So the brain allows us to move within spaces, but we have to be true to the spaces to reconnect to the spaces so that they could combine and connect with the brain. So multiple universes are connected in a frequency, in a gap, and in a pitch, opposite in multiple spaces that collide to the center, that allows us to be honest and true and connect all the spaces. Thank you.